permanent secretary, distinguished. We are very happy to be here this morning to give the account of stewardship of the Ministry of Establishment, Training and Pensions. In line with the administration's policy of transparency and accountability in governance. There is no doubt that the enviable position of Lagos State today has been driven by the vision and effective leadership of the present administration, which this ministry keyed into through the capacity building of civil servants. These achievements would not have been possible without the support and encouragement of the good people of Lagos State. Our ministry stands on the tripod of the core ministry being made up of establishment and training, the Civil Service Pensions Office, resting also on the Public Service Staff Development Center and LASPEC, the Lagos State Pensions Commission. The constituent parts of the ministry continue to work together, focusing on human capital development, personnel budgeting, sustenance of a harmonious industrial climate, and the administration of pension-related matters. With this background, I'd like to quickly go through the main achievements in the past 1 year. Establishment Department. This department ensured throughout the year that all the excellent provisions and rules for fairness, equity, and justice in the management of the career of public servants were strictly adhered to. The annual personnel budget was prepared to ensure that the remuneration of public servants were paid as at when. There is constant collaboration between this ministry and the Office of the Head of Service, the Civil Service Commission, the Public Service Office on matters affecting conditions of service, salaries and wages, welfare, etc. We collaborated with the UK Department for International Development, DFID SPARC, on matters affecting broader public service reforms for better productivity. The annual circulars and personnel budget estimates to disseminate relevant information to stakeholders was also published. We have engaged on a continuous basis the trade unions in matters affecting conditions of service and welfare of public servants with a view to engendering efficient and effective service delivery to the citizenry. Notably, was the issue of bringing to closure the matters affecting the veterinary doctors, bringing them at par with medical doctors, and the payment of outstanding arrears. We undertook the revision of the state public service rules, and the revision is currently receiving the attention of the State Executive Council. Industrial relations. As we are all aware, industrial peace and harmony are the panacea for sustainable governance. In view of that, the ministry resolutely pursued regular engagement of the trade unions with constant dialogue on matters that could otherwise result in industrial dispute. It is heartwarming to state that most of these issues were usually amicably resolved, albeit with very long hours spent on bargaining with the unions. We also recognized in the course of the year 2 new unions, namely Senior Staff Association of Communication, Transport and Corporations, SSACTAC, and the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASAN. This year's Workers' Day, held on the 1st of May, was successfully anchored by the Ministry, during which His Excellency the Governor, Mr. Babatunde Rajapaksa, SAN, commended the workers for their contributions to nation building, stating that they were the engine room of the nation's development. On the safety of workers in our industries, visitations were made to various industries alongside the National Industrial Safety Council to ensure that our industries comply with safety and health standards in their operations, as well as participating at National Industrial Safety Council meetings. Training Department. This department is responsible for the formulation and implementation of the training policy of government, which in the main entails the training and development of senior officers on GL13 and above. Tremendous improvement was recorded in the quality and the number of staff training and manpower development in the civil service during the period under consideration. However, we have had dwindling budgetary allocation in the past few years, which in a way has constricted the number of officers that could be sent out for training. However, we were able to give 2,471 officers training in the course of the year. And if you go down that page, you will see the disposition of the training. For the local workshops and seminars, we did 824, international workshops 31, ICT 105, professional courses and workshops 50, further studies 431, those who scaled through for study leave with or without pay, the further studies and those who went on study leave with or without pay all came to 431. Then we had what we call the generic and soft skills programs, which was on leadership, emotional intelligence, total quality management, etc. We had 800, and then the well-being retreat, which is usually residential, we had 180 people. To drive home the impact of these courses, we usually undertake post-assessment program or test on these courses. The results of the post-impact assessment test shows the following: that the training of officers in the director grade on principles and practice of performance management, interpersonal leadership skills should be given more attention. The assessment also shows that it should generate training needs from the NDAs themselves, who will nominate the participants after going through their annual performance forms that we have been doing, and that the ministry should train some people in the train the trainer program, so that when they come back, they'll be able to impact the knowledge to the other staff. We have been doing that also with the departmental training officers. We also came up with the opinion that training plans with the names of nominees at the beginning of every year should be provided at least 2 months before the program. This is being implemented through the issuance of a service-wide circular for compliance. The government should encourage civil servants to constantly seek for knowledge and information on what is going on around them. The state government, therefore, encourages staff to imbibe the habit of e-learning through the installation of internet facilities within the Secretariat, and there is ongoing plan to extend same to other facilities outside the Secretariat. One area that is of concern to this ministry is the fact that when officers attend training, their parent agencies do not pay their statutory allowances on time. So we are also ensuring that these allowances are paid as at when due. The other area that previous sessions like this brought out was the mode of selection of the participants. So what we are doing now is that for fair selection of nominees to workshops, the ministry has put in place a software, Staff Training Management System, STMS, into Oracle database, which does the auto selection and nomination of officers. This ensures that the same set of officers are not renominated year in, year out. If you will recall, this time last year, I think somebody brought up this particular point, that it appears that it's the same set of officers that get to travel all the time. I believe that we have corrected that. To deter absenteeism, the ministry now issues queries to absentee participants, and I'm happy to report that attendance at our workshop has improved tremendously. Something that might also be of interest is that the state government has adopted a new staff performance appraisal and development format that's dispatched in appraising the performance of officers, and I believe a statewide circular has been issued to this effect. That performance measurement and evaluation that performance and measurement and evaluation in state public service henceforth will be tied to the realization of MDA's mandate as encapsulated in their service charter, with emphasis on pay for performance as well as performance-based promotion. Let me pause a moment to explain what is happening with the new SPADE, because it concerns everybody. We have shifted emphasis from examination to job performance, because we realize that some people do well during examination but do not work very hard in the course of the year. So when you see the new form, you will see how we have been able to bring performance on the job to carry more weight than the examination that used to carry higher weight. Now, officers will be assessed twice yearly. This is with a view to giving those who have not done very well in the first half of the year the opportunity to improve on their performance later on in the year. You would also recall the practice whereby people will be back filling their appraisal forms. That is not going to happen any longer, as you will be required to have filled your form latest 31st December of the reporting year. Stagnated or qualification bad officers with exceptional performance records may be supported to acquire additional qualification through state sponsorship, in addition to their receiving exceptional performance earning bonus. This implies that when you see officers who, due to their qualification, cannot proceed beyond a certain level, such officers will be supported by the state government to take on additional qualification, and where applicable, such officers will be given state sponsorship. Also, staff displaying verifiable and consistent exceptional performance through the SPADE reporting scores may be given the opportunity to sit for promotion examinations earlier than period prescribed for their grades, which may lead to accelerated promotion. The whole idea of this is to give the high flyers an opportunity to compete for vacancies that are way higher than where they currently are. This is to encourage the staff to work very hard, and that vacancies henceforth will be advertised, and anybody who feels qualified will be free to undertake the examinations irrespective of their grade levels. The Public Service Staff Development Center. The PSSDC, as we all know, is the institutional arm of the ministry. It was established in 1994, primarily to provide learning and development and consultancy services to public servants in Lagos State. The center conducts impact assessments. It assists us during our examinations, and it has, as reported at the last briefing, been given a new law to reposition it and to make it the center of excellence that we are hoping for. A new law has actually been signed to give it more room to expand and to become the #1 learning center in the country. So I think they deserve that. Between the last ministerial press briefing and now, PSSDC provided 75 learning and development interventions to a total of 4,475 participants across 86 ministries, departments, and agencies. A major part of the learning and development achievement reported above was the specialized induction program for 1,775 probationary teachers newly employed to strengthen the capacity of the state's post-primary institutions. The comprehensive 5-day induction program, organized in collaboration with the Ministry of Education and the Teachers Establishment and Pension Office, commenced on Monday 31st March and was successfully concluded on Friday 2nd of May 2014. There are other things that PSSDC has done which are as stated, and I think we can take time to look at that. Of interest, however, is that PSSDC has been winning awards, and I think we will not do justice if we do not tell you about it. PSSDC received the Outstanding Change Agent in Learning and Development Award at the African Regional Conference of the International Federation of Training and Development Organization, IFTDO, in Abuja, Nigeria, in recognition of the innovation of the center in the learning and development field. They have started the production and publication of a journal, that is the Public Sector Administration and Management Journal, which is a move in the capacity strengthening of the center to push out publications to promote public service efforts. The center is in the process of publishing the 3rd edition of the journal. They also assisted us in the performance evaluation form that I talked about, and they assisted to conduct performance evaluation examination for a total of 12,654 candidates for promotion in year 2014. Civil Service Pensions Office. The CSPO is saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that pensioners of Lagos State, of which I am one, on the pay as you go scheme, get their entitlement as at when due. I can confirm that to you that I get my pension about the same time that salaries are being paid. Presently, we have 14,981 pensioners that we are taking care of. This consists of 9,200 for the mainstream civil servants, 32 in the judiciary, 5,749 for post-primary teaching service, In February, on February 12, 2014, that's when organized the 10th retirement bond certificate presentation ceremony, where 299 retirees were paid the sum of 1.2 billion naira. The actual figure is reflected, being their accrued rights for past service to the state before the commencement of the contributory pension scheme in 2007. On the 17th of April 2014, another 437 retirees drawn from the local government areas, the State Universal Basic Education Board, were also given the sum of 1,723,737,915.59 kobo during that ceremony to mark the 11th retirement bond certificate presentation. Cumulatively, the state government has paid out 24,429,829,010 naira 60 kobo to a total number of 4,636 retirees since inception of the contributory pension scheme till date. It is gratifying to note that the state government has contributed its own quota in the sum of 49,963,177,130.69 kobo, meaning the monthly deduction of 7.5% from the salary of every worker and the counterpart 7.5% contribution by the state government into the retirement savings account RSA of every employee in the PFAs from inception of the contributory pension scheme till date. Moreover, the Lagos State Pension Commission, in collaboration with the state government, approved 6 pension fund administrators, 5 insurance companies, all of them together organized the 5th pre-retirement seminar for 1,200 workers who will retire from service between January and June 2014. With the above achievements, ladies and gentlemen, the Lagos State government has maintained its leadership status in the implementation of the contributory pension scheme among the other states of the Federation. Ladies and gentlemen, the public service, as the name connotes, is to provide services to the good people of the state. There is no doubt that the activities of this ministry are germane to the production of these services, albeit indirectly through its capacity building efforts, which enhances labor productivity and indeed national development. However, the key to achieving exceptional organizational results rests squarely on the identification of relevant training and performance intelligence, which are expected to yield immense results in the quest to unlock the vast potentials in the area of human capital development. I should not end this press briefing without acknowledging the contribution of His Excellency the Governor for the visionary and exemplary leadership he has provided for us in Lagos State to make us the cynosure of all eyes, locally and internationally. Our two permanent secretaries, the two directors general, directors, and indeed the entire staff of the ministry and the parasitals for their unalloyed support and diligence to actualize the mandates of the ministry is well noted, for which they are highly commended. Gentlemen of the press, we also wish to thank you for your support in giving adequate publicity to our activities, and we pray that you will continue to support us as the administration winds down in about a year from now. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you for your attention. So go with that. On the hazard allowance. The hazard allowance applies not only to the firemen. There are also other group of officers that are entitled to the hazard allowance. And with the collation of all the entitled officers, I want to believe that before the year runs out, we are going to be able to seek the approval to be able to pay the hazard allowance. As I said last year, I could recollect when the salaries were renegotiated in 2011, the presumption was that the consolidated are taking care of everything. Once the state workers had signed up to those figures, it was assumed at that time that the consolidated pay has superseded every other pay, and that other allowances will have to be renegotiated. So it was not an automatic sweep from one pay structure to another. That is what is causing this delay, if I may call it like that. It's something that we have to be reviewing over and over again. And when we scale through, I'm sure everybody that is entitled will be given. But it's not peculiar to the firefighters alone. On the pension that is being owed, there is a figure that you have quoted applies to all the tiers of government, both to the state and the local government at that time. We still have some of this still outstanding, and only yesterday we had some officers go to Abuja to go and pursue. The federal government is yet to fully respond to the payment of their federal share of pensions. On the consolidated wage, where people don't know what they get, the word itself, consolidated, presupposes that everything has been fused together. For anybody who is interested, I think at any point in time that they ask for the details is made available. But from the budget point of view, when we are preparing the budget, we prepare the budget based on consolidated that had been negotiated, of course, of the number of people in post. So really, there is no secret about it. Anybody who is interested in knowing the component parts of their salary, is free to approach the people in charge of Oracle to find out what the component parts are. Any time been put to rest. On our part, we continue to make the case for it. The simple fact is that the subject is still undergoing discussion. Government and labor activity and the regular review of civil servants. The person who asked the question about government and labor activities, can I have the question again? No,
it's on the salary, still on the current salary.
Okay.
What would not?
So why we haven't had the salary review?
Yeah.
When we are only in May, we recognize, yes, that we have a pay policy that we go by, and we are only in May, so this is also a discussion that is receiving the attention of the ministry. As a matter of fact, the ministry has been requested to come up with a labor and the financial implications of what the review would cost the state government, and this is only May. We're still looking at it, and we have not ended that discussion. But the simple answer to that is that we are looking at our figures, and a decision will be taken at the appropriate time. Stagnation, how soon, and what's the procedure? What I've said is not as if it's something new. It's something that is ongoing. Any officer that desires to improve himself is always welcome to do so. The state government has laid down procedures for doing this. The addition or the innovation that is being introduced is to encourage those who otherwise would have given up on themselves, that there's still room for them to pick courses of their interest, and they will be subject to due process, and the state government will be more than willing to assist them. How many retirees are on the old scheme? I thought we mentioned that in the course of the report. If you go to page 8, that's paragraph 24, the old ones, we have 14,981 made up of 9,200 mainstream civil servants, 32 judiciary, 5,749 for post-primary teaching service. Does that answer your question? And then any move to increase the pension, well, I'll be glad to have an increase of my pension as well. Again, the labor outlook, I just mentioned to you that we are looking at the labor outlook of both the serving officers and the retired officers. The one that you did not even ask has also to do with the other arm of government, that is the State House. All of these segments of the service have issues with their pensions. So we are looking at it holistically. issues of pensions, issues of wage review, industrial matters. These are currently receiving the attention of the ministry, and before the year runs out, we will be able to make specific pronouncements on the stance of the state government. There was a question of further studies. I'm even told that the centralized PMP was held only last week to consider applications for advancement or further studies. Now, on the ASU state government labor relations, I think we will forever have issues, and we will continue to dialogue with the parties that are involved. I do not see a situation where we will wake up one day and say that all the problems have been solved. As they come along, we continue to solve them. Right now, the Executive Council has set up an executive committee to look into all the issues that they have raised. And I think my bank said that was at ESCO yesterday, because I wasn't there, reported to me this morning that the committee is supposed to be meeting to be discussing all these issues. So the straight answer to that is that there is an executive council committee that has been set up to look closely into the matters of the industrial issues between ASU and the state government. We have some questions from the Facebook and the Twitter. One says, Adesoba Odukoya Adeola, I need a job. I have BA in linguistics from UI. The state, let me take on that one of the hiring of new hands. The state government wants to come up with a policy whereby recruitment will be streamlined and be undertaken at specific times of the year. What this implies is that now that the staff audit has been completed and submitted, the state government will now look at the exits in the previous year and decide based on its policy process. As you know, right now we are looking at power. So the areas concerning power, agri, transportation, and housing will receive great attention going forward. So the state plans to have a streamlined recruitment exercise whereby vacancies will be decided and the recruitment of new hands into the public service is going to be made public, and a procedure will be put in place that those who are qualified will come in. So I would urge Mr. Adesoba Odukoya Adeola to look out for such a time when such vacancies will be made open. Taiwo says, why is it that upgrading and conversion is difficult in local government service commission? Well, I wouldn't know what it means by difficult. But before you can be upgraded and converted. I think that there are certain procedures that must be followed. From the very point of intent, when you intend to undertake a course of study, you are supposed to apply. So you cannot come with a certificate that nobody has given you approval to go and obtain and come back and expect that it's going to be automatic. Please follow the procedures, and I'm sure Mr. Taitaro will be able to scale through. Adeleye Ademola says, does your ministry sponsor LASG to international training? If yes, what is the procedure? Yes, we do sponsor programs in abroad. Again, it depends on the type of program that you are talking about. Sometimes, in some professions, take the lawyers, for example, they have International Bar Association annual conference, which state sponsors. We also have other people that have international programs. So the answer to the question is that it depends on the kind of program that we are talking about. We do sponsor people abroad to undertake master's and PhD programs. It depends on what you really want. So that is the answer that I can give for that.
Honorable Commissioner, my name is Casey Morris. I report for MTNH. I want to ask about new pensions.
Their benefits are really the ones to blame. They do not get their documentations together, and if your documentation is not complete, there's nobody that is going to pay you. And that is why we have desk officers in the various agencies to advise intending retirees as to how to go about collecting their terminal benefits when they leave. I can tell you categorically that when we are doing the planning and the budgeting for the personnel cost, everybody that has their records and documentation with us is provided for. And if you look at the report or the briefing that we have just given to you, we find the figures there. But quite a large number of our intending retirees do not have their documents together. The DG last week is here and has told me that all those that have their papers complete have been given the desired attention. So those who have issues are those who have not complied with the provisions precedent to getting their entitlements. The Local Government Service Commission and the difficulty in getting vacancies, I would refer this question to the Local Government Service Commission because they are in a better position to give you reasons why they have difficulty in getting these matters quickly resolved. For those that are of immediate concern to this ministry, I'm sure we don't have problems with them. The Lagos Horizon, why they have not received their entitlement. If you recall, I told you concerning the parastatals that we are even working on, which you did not raise. I have raised it because it's also a matter of concern to us that some of the parastatals themselves have issues with their pensions administration. A goal today of the Lagos Horizon is one of the agencies that we are working on. We had asked some of them to come up with their papers. Some have responded, some are yet to respond. But I want to tell you that the matter is not closed, and I'm sure it will take 11 years for us to come up with a definite solution on the matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to request that you put that hand together once again for the Honorable Commissioner. Thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the session. I would like now to invite the permanent